Alrighty, Josh Rubin from East West Healing Performance. Today I want to talk to you about why you might be getting acne after reintroducing dairy into your diet. Now, there's many, of course, physiological reasons why this is happening. Now, we could say, and it does, dairy, every source is actually higher in tryptophan than most things. And there's certain fruits and vegetables like tomatoes and bananas and I think mangoes, I'm drawing a blank on this, pineapples, that have an increased serotonin-like activity in the body. Same thing with muscle meats. Muscle meats, lamb, beef, bison, chicken, all these things, they're higher in tryptophan. Now, we have to look at this because we can't just say everyone should start eating these certain fruits because they're tropical, like pineapple, or it's okay to eat muscle meat just in a smaller amount. We have to really look at the person that we're working with, or you have to look at yourself and say, am I in a state of inflammation? How bad am I? How bad is my inflammatory state, or how long have I been in this inflammatory state? So what we've noticed over the years is when we start introducing dairy to some people's diet, most people go crazy and they go from drinking no milk to drinking tons of milk throughout the day. And what happens is we're seeing, especially in women, an increase in acne in these people. Now, I'm going to tell you why this happens and just some key points that you can actually use to maybe downregulate this. Anytime the body's inflamed, it can be from anything. Most of the times it's from blood sugar handling issues, because when the body's stressed, it wants to bring glucose to your cells and to your organs, to your brain as fast as possible. It's a major source of energy. Now, most people have issues storing glycogen in their liver because of estrogen dominance, toxins, GI issues, exogenous sources of estrogens. We're not taking in enough protein or the right types of proteins because our liver actually needs protein to detoxify estrogen. I mean, same thing when actually you're pregnant. The reason your placenta or your blood volume doubles by 40%, it actually does that through the intake of the right types of proteins to support the fetus. So when we take in too much dairy and we're in an inflammatory state and we don't do it in a process, dairy has tryptophan. Same thing with muscle meats, same thing with pineapple and things like that. If we take too much, our body will convert it to serotonin. Now, this is a problem because serotonin is inflammatory. Now, yes, we have serotonin in our gut. There's been research to show, from way back when, from Bayliss, Starling, Gershon recently, that we actually have serotonin in our GI system, and we have that to actually help with wave-like contractions of the GI system, to help with peristalsis, but also it's a one-way street between the GI system and the brain to go to the brain and tell the brain what's going on in the GI system. So there's less than 5% found in the brain. Well, when you're in an inflammatory state, your body or the brain actually increases its uptake of tryptophan. You start to see vascular leakiness. You'll start to see increased estrogen levels to regulate blood sugar. And that actually increases the brain's absorption of tryptophan or uptake of tryptophan. Serotonin can create decreased mitochondrial respiration, which is decreased energy production in the body. It can lead to GI leakiness, overburden on the liver. It downregulates glucose utilization. It's highly excitatory. It can create a state of hibernation in people, giving them that blah, sleepy, dull feeling all the time. And actually can increase excess production of cortisol in the body, which can actually downregulate blood sugar, increase estrogen. It's just a cascade of effects. So if you take in tryptophan from muscle meats or dairy in excess when you're already in an inflammatory state, you're actually producing a lot of prolactin in the body. Anytime you're in an inflamed state, now prolactin has many different reasons why it's produced in the body, especially with lactation when a woman is pregnant or just had their baby. Now, prolactin in excess can actually leak calcium from the bones and excrete it into the urine, leading to inflammation, leading to osteoporosis. And you see this a lot with people in an inflamed state or altered blood sugar fluctuations. The same thing about prolactin, though, is when you're in an inflammatory state, prolactin actually stimulates the 5-alpha reductase enzyme, which converts testosterone to DHT. So if you're in an inflammatory state, you're drinking tons of dairy, you're converting tryptophan to serotonin, which increase prolactin levels in the body. What's going to happen now is you're actually going to convert a lot of your hormones to excess androgens, and prolactin in itself, as well as the androgens, stimulate the sebaceous glands, especially the face and the neck and the eyelids, which have sebum in it. So prolactin actually will facilitate the production of sebum from these glands, which is an oily wax substance, which can increase acne production. So the acne is actually a sign of inflammation. Now, don't freak out. What we usually recommend people when starting out is, of course, there's so many things you need to do to down-regulate inflammation, regulate blood sugar. So I'm kind of giving you a shotgun approach. I'm not saying if you do this, your acne is going to go away. But, of course, start with cheeses and things like that because they don't have whey. You can start with, cheeses that don't have cultures. Cultures can actually create inflammation in the GI system. It can cause the liver the inability to detoxify estrogen and other toxins, which can cause serotonin to build up. So use cheeses like ricotta cheese or mascarpone cheese or Parmigiano Reggiano cheeses that don't have cultures in them. And then you can move to other cultured cheeses like your raw cheeses and things like that. But keep in mind, if you get GI disturbances from these cheeses, it's most likely the cultures and not the cheese. Most of the cultures that are produced in the world are actually produced by Monsanto. Once you go from cheeses, then you can start introducing dairy into your diet. Liquid dairy. Try goat, sheep, milk, raw, organic, pasteurized organic. Find the one that's going to work for you. And we always recommend people to initially, when you're reintroducing it, if you're really in an inflamed state and you're that worried because you've had food intolerances, to just put some in your mouth every day and swish it around and spit it out. And then every week or couple weeks, whenever you're comfortable, just increase your dairy consumption. Start with like a quarter of a cup. Do that every day. And then when you feel comfortable, you feel like your body can handle it, you're moving out of that inflamed state because you're looking at your pulse and temps, then you can go to half a cup and you can slowly increase it over a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month period to downregulate the stress response that you already have going on in your body. So hopefully you've learned something from this YouTube clip. I'm out of here.